Welcome to the Prophecy Club. Today you're going to be glad you're hearing from a prophecy teacher because our topic is how close are we to the Antichrist? That's what everybody wants to know. Okay, how close are we to the end time, the tribulation, the mark of the beast? I'm going to show you some things today that I think are going to give you a pretty good idea of just how close we might be. First, and I'm going to move fast, got lots to say. 5 IDF divisions, 5 months, Netanyahu's Gaza occupation plan to defeat Hamas. Okay, this is what we've been praying for. Anything but splitting Israel. Because I've got 12 people that God has spoken to that says, if America splits Israel, God's going to split America from the Great Lakes all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico, and it will not be pretty. So, essentially, that's what we got to pray for, that something happens that does not split Israel. You can pause and read the whole thing if you want to. The next thing, and this is really big, the Temple Institute is now declaring it is time to build. Problem is, the Temple Institute's been declaring this probably since 1948, a long time. I actually had the opportunity to walk in and visit the Temple Institute and see all of the furnishings that they have all ready to go. They're waiting for the temple to be rebuilt. But there's a problem. The Muslims will not let them build a temple, and they're not going to be able to build it until they get their land back. Now, that, in my opinion, is going to happen one of two ways. Either they're given a Palestinian state, which is a conclusion of some kind of a peace deal, which a lot of people think will start the 7-year tribulation, or they're going to have to defeat all of the enemies around them, which is the Arab countries surrounding them, to where they can build their temple. Either way, this part of it says it ain't close. They think they're close, but they're not as close. Now, this one also says they're real close, but it's not exactly there yet. Sacrificing the red heifer is a really, really, really big sign. Now, I'm not going to read all this. Essentially, I'm going to tell you what it says. The first verse, Daniel 9:24, and I'm going to break it up here, basically says, when all sin is gone, all of the prophecies fulfilled, everything is all done. That will take place after 7 sets of 49 years, or 490 years. Now, here's the part we're concerned with. And the Antichrist, shall confirm this covenant. Now, a lot of people want to say it's a peace agreement, but if you look, it doesn't say peace agreement. It simply says covenant. It does not say it originates with him. It simply says he agrees with it. Now, okay, why is that important? Right now, Trump, in his first term, got them to start doing the agreement with Saudi Arabia and Qatar and UAE. I'm trying to remember the name of it here. What is it called? The Abraham Accords. And they're really pushing it hard. And of course, the whole Abraham Accord thing is basically saying, A, that these nations will recognize Israel as a nation and that they will make peace with them. But the Arab nations are all saying you got to give the Palestinians a state. Now, here's my opinion on that. I totally agree. The Palestinians should be given a state. Maybe Egypt, maybe Jordan, maybe Saudi Arabia. Give them a state, just not Israel. And I've showed you what the real Israel map looked like, and it's got to be someplace other than that. Now, let me get on to the point here. But if you look at the 4th line, it says, in the midst of the week. In other words, in the middle of the 7-year tribulation. What it's saying is the Antichrist goes in and sits on the Ark of the Covenant. Well, a couple of problems with that. One, we don't even know that we've even seen the Antichrist yet. No one has stood up in a way that we can identify him as even being the Antichrist. And second, he sits on the Ark of the Covenant. That's the abomination of desolation. The Ark of the Covenant has been found. It was found January 6, 1982 at 2 p.m. by Ron Wyatt. But the problem is it has not been exposed to the public yet. It certainly hasn't been pulled out. So that can't happen. But that takes place in the middle of the tribulation. So is that 3.5 years away? It could be, okay? Then Terry Bennett said that the angel Gabriel visited him and blew a shofar, pulled out a scroll and read to him and said, that the tribulation started on October the 5th, which is the Day of Atonement, in 2022. Well, that's not true, because here we are in 2025. At this point, we should see the Antichrist, the Ark of the Covenant should be pulled out, they should be started animal sacrifice, if that was true. So, sorry, Terry, but that's not true. Okay, let's go on. Also, we should see the Antichrist showing his face. Hadn't happened yet, to my knowledge. There's no agreement with any kind of a peace, anything, any kind of agreement with Israel. They're working on it. They say they're close, but they've been saying they're close for a long time. It's going to be with many nations. It'll last for 7 years. Doesn't necessarily mean it starts to be 7 years. It just only lasts 7 years. And in the middle of the 7-year period, the Antichrist sits on the Ark of the Covenant, as I said, and stops animal sacrifice. Well, that's another problem. They aren't sacrificing animals in Israel, and they have not sacrificed animals in Israel for over 2,000 years. And the thing that is keeping them from animal sacrifice is they have to have a purified priest, a purified Sanhedrin, a purified altar, and a purified sacrifice. And the thing that purifies them, according to Numbers 19, is you got to have the ashes of the red heifer, which they do not have. Now, some people say all you got to do is sacrifice another red heifer, take their ashes, follow Numbers 19, and boom, you got it. The problem is they haven't been able to find a red heifer, because the scripture says it can't have more than 2 white hairs or brown hairs. It's got to be all red. And the problem is they haven't found one of those for 2,000 years until 2022. Then in Rockwall, Texas, about 45 minutes from where I sit right now, there is a farmer that flew 5 of them to Israel, and at last check, one of them, so if, the thing of it is with Jews, okay, if you got 2 Jews, you got 3 opinions. So some people say, well, there's still one that's viable. Other people say there's 2 viable. Some people say, no, they're all disqualified. So who knows? But the point is, they aren't sacrificing animals yet. Now, if you look at this is the scripture, which I'm not going to read all of it, go to the very bottom. This is the scripture that proves that the Antichrist will sit in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. We haven't seen that. That happens in the middle of the tribulation. Now, if we want to know when the Antichrist is going to show up, and we do know that he's released from falling endlessly and helplessly in the bottomless pit at the start of the tribulation, because he's given exactly 2,520 days on the earth, and he's allowed to rule for the last 3.5 years, which is 1,260 days. So we should be able to see things like the world government. We haven't seen that. If you look at my chart here, you see that blue arrow off to the left? That's actually in the middle of the tribulation. And if you want to pause, or better yet, if you want to get my book, which I have to kick a few things around, here you go, Secret Door to Understand Bible Prophecy, it will explain that chart. And one of the visions I had showed me that I need to write a book, because some things cannot be learned by audio and visual. And I tried to teach this at least 10 times by audio and video, and people's eyes start rolling. They start yawning. They just can't get it. You got to get this from the book. The back has that chart and this chart, and you get them in a shrink wrap set of 5. One is $20. Don't do that. Instead, get a shrink wrap set of 5 for $35 at prophecyclub.com. Now, let me go on and make my point here. If the tribulation is supposed to be started, we should see a new world order, meaning world government, world religion, and world financial system. Wait a minute. Now we're getting close with that. See, because this Genius Act was huge, because it allowed a crypto, a digital currency, to go one-on-one with the dollar. That's big. We've not seen that in the history of our nation. Matter of fact, no one I know of has a digital currency. We should also be seeing the fall of the dollar and rise of a digital currency. But see, that's the Genius Act. That's part of it. What I'm trying to say is, I don't think we're in the tribulation. But I do think we're standing on the edge, going just about to fall over. In other words, I think it's real close. Then we should also be seeing a global communication system. Wait a minute. Are we? Yes, we are. A global communication system so that no one can buy or sell save he had the mark of the name of the beast, the number of his name, meaning a satellite system, so that our cell phones, our cell phones can connect up to satellite, go over and connect to a quantum computer that was given to us by our alien friends, I believe. And it's going to be able to track everything. Now let me get to that. Okay, so here's one of the things that says we are close. We have seen the rise of artificial intelligence, and I question whether it's artificial intelligence or actually alien intelligence. Connecting mankind to global computer system, they have spent $500 billion on data centers. And we'll talk about that. OpenAI, SoftBank, and Oracle will fund the creation of 10 facilities during the initial phase of the Stargate initiative. So, you think AI is good? I don't. Prophecy students don't. So this is the guy. His name is his name is Caruso. And he's the guy that they have tapped on the shoulder and asked to build this $500 billion project. Here's the article. It's a windy 80-degree day in March, 1,000-acre construction site in Abilene, Texas, which is 2 hours west of here. Well, maybe 3 hours. Codenamed Project Ludicrous. What? Does that sound like a Christian project to you? It does not sound like. If I was a Christian naming a Christian project, I wouldn't call it ludicrous. Where 2,000 workers toil over what soon be the world's largest artificial intelligence data centers. AI is not your friend. Your cell phone is not your friend. Here under its official name of Stargate Project. What's a Stargate? Okay, you've probably seen the movies there's 30 different movies and TV programs come out. Go ahead and look up Stargate. It's a gate to where that they tell you that you can walk into it and be moved to any place, past, present, and future, to any place in the galaxy instantly. Why would they call a data center Stargate? Do you think maybe there's something to that? I do. Okay, let's go on. OpenAI will team with Oracle and Microsoft to create what they claim to be the first generation of AI models to fully surpass human cognition. What? To fully surpass human cognition. What do they just say? What they said is, we're building something that's going to outsmart you. We're building something that is going to be able to track you and monitor every word, every deed, every email, every phone call, every mile you drive, every baby you have, every boyfriend or girlfriend you have, every. Look, it's going to be tied into all cameras. It's going to be tied into everything on the internet. Everything. And it does not miss anything. Let me read that again. To fully surpass human cognition. It will be a factory of factories, says Chase Lockmiller, CEO of lead developer Crusoe Energy. What he means is that AI is trained here will be used to develop more such systems. There's not just one. More such systems down the line, producing an endless stream of intelligence as a service. No, it's not a service. It's an endless stream of intelligence so that no man might buy or sell save he had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. By the end of this year, Crusoe expects 100,000 NVIDIA graphic processing units to be installed into each of the first of two 500,000 square foot H-shaped buildings. This is what the building looks like. Meta, Amazon, Alphabet, those are the biggest companies in the world, have separately earmarked more than $200 billion for AI infrastructure. Look, do you think that they're building this so that they can make money? No, they don't need more money. It's not about money. It's about you. It's about tracking and monitoring. Well, why do they want to track and monitor me, Stan? That's a good question. So that you can be found and required to make that decision. That decision being either you take the mark or you lose your head. They want to be able to track and monitor and find people that are not in the system. And if you're in the system, you took the mark. If you're not in the system, you lose your head, period. Krauss figures those that do get completed buildings will add some 800 gigawatts of electricity demand nationwide by 2030. Okay, this is 25. 2030, they're planning to have this in place. Okay, so if we want to know when the Antichrist is getting here, what they just said is we plan to have the mark of the beast up and rolling by 2030. So if that's true, and if the mark of the beast is required in the middle of the tribulation, which is what most prophecy teachers assume, we do not know that for sure, then that still puts us a year or 2 or 3 away from the start of the tribulation, conservatively. Oh, there's more. Nationwide by 2030, an unprecedented 10% growth, and here it is, as much as all of Texas use on a hot summer day. Okay, wait a minute. That tells us a lot. Try to imagine a facility using so much electricity it equals the entire state of Texas on a hot summer day. In other words, at its maximum. This is one facility. What are they doing with all that electricity? I can tell you what they're doing. They're finding you, tracking you, every phone call, every word, every deed, every camera. They'll have cameras on every place but your bathroom, and maybe they'll have one in your shower before long, too. Think about it. Does your doorbell have a camera on it? Does your house have a camera on it? I know my son-in-law, he's so proud. His dad has come over and put up all of these, I think they're 5G cameras all around his house. I mean, you can't get near his house without him recording you. But it's tied into the internet. If it's not now, it will be. Or maybe it doesn't have to be tied into the internet. If it's just tied into your Wi-Fi. If so, if it touches the Wi-Fi, the AI computer has got it. That ought to let you know this thing is huge. And they just told you. They plan to have it in place by 2030. My guess is it's going to... Look, let me show you the rest of it. Elon Musk and the mark of the beast. I said, I don't trust Elon. I don't trust him. I'll just say that. There's 5 things we cannot do. We cannot worship the beast, worship his image, take his mark, his name, or his number. This on the left is his number, that's 666 in a spiral. On the right is the mark of the beast. I don't skip all the other details, but that's what we believe it'll look like, something like that, located there or located there. You got to have one of them. You got to put all your retina scans, your fingerprint, your voice print, your face print, all your biometric information into a cell phone program in order to buy or sell. So that's probably what we're talking about it'll look like. This book I wrote, in fact, it's the most popular book of the 5 I've written. And if you give this is, it's a quick read. Okay, this is not deep prophecy. This is designed to hand to someone that maybe is not even a Christian. If they'll read 3 or 4 pages, they'll probably finish the book. If they finish the book, they will never take that mark of the beast. Read the rest of it. You can get it at prophecyclub.com. Now, let's talk about the system. You want to know how close the Antichrist is? This is going to give you a good idea. So, now this was several years back. This is back when 4G was the fastest download at 1.4 gigabytes. Starlink could be 20 gigabyte with very low latency. In other words, there's no waiting. It's instant. So try to imagine every cell phone on the planet is all tied into Starlink. If you walk into some place and there's Wi-Fi, you don't need a username and password. It passes all of that. Your cell phone, because it's probably not a cell phone making phone calls. It's going to be for buying and selling. It automatically finds and logs on to every Wi-Fi or to every satellite. and you cannot buy or sell if you're not in that digital system. That's what the Genius Act is all about, okay? So each one of these satellites launches 120 of these low Earth orbiting satellites. See off to the right there? That's actually a nose cone, and in that there's 120 low Earth orbiting satellites. And they're launching these, last I heard, every 2 weeks. 120 of them every 2 weeks, that's what it's saying. So they're designed to last 18 months, and after that, they drop out and there's no harm to the atmosphere. Now, when I did this article, it was 4,400 low Earth orbiting satellites. Oh, there's a lot more now. That's what it looks like when they launch. That's what it looks like they estimate now, but it's going to look more like that shortly after. The whole globe is going to be covered by these. You're not going to be able to buy or sell if you're not part of the system. Now, just look this up. This is current. As of August 1, 2025, there's 8,904 Starlink satellites in orbit. Think about that, 8,000. And of them, SpaceX plans to eventually get about 12,000 satellites and has even requested permission for an additional 30. That's 42,000 satellites, meaning any place on Earth, your not cell phone, maybe the cell phone connects to them too, probably will, but it's the buying and selling cell phone, okay? Not cell phone, but what do you call it, okay? Now, this next thing is really important, and so I'm going to take a second to explain it. So we had Maurice Sklar come and speak to us. What does it say? 85. He was a child prodigy with violin. I mean, this guy's really good. He's like David, okay? So David played harp. This guy plays a violin, worships the Lord, and he's a prophet. Well, God began to speak to him in visions. He told me, he said, I don't have dreams, I have visions. And these are the 10 visions that are in this particular DVD, and you want to go watch it. You can watch this at watchprophecyclub.com. You can watch it for free. First 3 days are free. You can go watch a bunch of our videos. Watchprophecyclub.com. There's no reason not to go watch some. Go take advantage of us. Go watch a bunch of Prophecy Club DVDs. Took us 25 years to make them all. Anyway, the dollar will lose 30% more and totally die. All U.S. wealth will be lost overnight. These are different visions. The bride is not ready. Many of the church will awaken and return to Christ. There will be massive riots across the U.S. Many nations will attack Israel. Nukes will be used. Israel will win World War III and get back her land. Masses will move to Israel. Revival will come to U.S. There will be cities of refuge. The internet will grow evil and oppressive. The courtroom of heaven. Now, here's the point I wanted to show you. 1985, okay? How many people even knew there was an internet in 1985? I don't think I did. I saw the Earth from space. Neon lights began to appear in hexagon patterns and then spread around the world. I saw white laser lights traced in 100-mile wide hexagon patterns. Now, the interesting thing is the Starlink satellites do not use radio waves to communicate, just like it says here. It's laser lights. They're faster, okay? Wide hexagon patterns around the Earth, like an electronic or laser spiderweb. The Earth was wrapped in an electronic grid like a geodesic dome, similar to the one at Epcot Center in Disney World. I could see the Earth underneath it with its blue oceans and clouds and atmosphere. Something like that. The Lord then said, this is what is shortly to take place. There's an electronic web, even use the word World Wide Web, electronic web that will encircle the Earth like this. It will unite the whole world under the Antichrist system. Bingo. Starlink is the Antichrist system. Want to know how long it is before the Antichrist shows up? Not long. Under the Antichrist system of the end-time Babylon, that's us. At first, it will bring great blessings and prosperity. It will seem like everyone is coming together and a new age is dawning for mankind. What did Trump just say? A new golden age. I looked again, and I saw the Earth from space with its electronic web around it once more. Then I saw the continent of Europe. The hexagons from each nation begin to grow dark and become opaque. In other words, you can't see through them. It looked like black smoke rose, and one after another, each hexagon began to go smoky gray, then black. In other words, the Antichrist system began to take over everything. After a few seconds, I could no longer see Europe at all. In other words, that's the New World Order coming online. Then this began to spread rapidly across into Asia, China, okay, all that, and Africa. Finally, Australia, China, and even America were completely blotted out as the Antichrist takes over. You want to know when the Antichrist is showing up? Watch this. I could only see the oceans. Then the islands of the seas became black. Finally, the entire earth was in darkness. Even the blue oceans disappeared. I felt such evil and hopelessness. I heard the cries of millions of souls on earth that were, here it is, trapped in darkness. That's what AI is. You folks that think AI is good, it's not good. All these data centers, not good, not good. Then the Lord spoke again and said, do you see this? Do you know what this is? I replied, no, Lord. He said, this is the fullness of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Let me read that again. This is the fullness of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. In other words, this is the arrival of the full I want knowledge. That's what the internet is. The reason we like internet is it gives us knowledge, okay? This is what Adam chose for all of mankind in the Garden of Eden instead of union and life with me. They could have had eaten from the tree of life instead, and this would never have happened. So satellites communicate between themselves by laser, as well as from satellite to the ground. So this is what we're looking at, coming online, all of these data centers. That's a Starlink satellite. That's what it looks like, a drawing. That's the way it works. Okay, how close? About the size of your kitchen table, powered by a Krypton motor, lifts it into orbit, keeps it there. 98% of it burns up when they're all done with it. Point is, you better ask Jesus in your heart. You better stop sinning, repent, turn to Jesus so he can save you in the day of trouble. And if you could help Prophecy Club financially, now would be a really good time. If you don't want to lose your life's savings, if you have an IRA or a 401k, the thing to do is call 800-200-GOLD. 800-200-GOLD. These folks are Christians, and they specialize in helping people not lose their life savings in the event of a stock market crash and things like that. Look, most of the 401ks, most of the IRAs are in paper, backed by paper, and as Lindsey Williams says, if it's in paper, it's worth the paper it's written on. You can lose it all. 1-800-200-GOLD. 800-200-GOLD. Hey, give them a call. Doesn't hurt, doesn't cost you anything. See if they can give you some good advice.